The grief economy. Who profits from your pain? Grief used to be sacred. Now it's monetized, coded, optimized, and sold back to you as comfort. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is Resurrection Science. Today we're not talking about the miracle of resurrection or the ethics of technology. We're talking about something even more intimate and far more dangerous, the business of it all. Because behind every AI simulation of a loved one is a server. Behind every memory reconstruction is a payment portal. And behind every tear-stained conversation with a voice clone is a company profiting from your pain. Let's get clear. Grief has always cost money. Funeral services, burial plots, cremation, florals, memorials, keepsakes. Death has never been free. But in the past, those were single purchase transactions. You paid for a ceremony, you paid for a casket, you paid for the rituals that honored a goodbye. Today, that model has been replaced with something much more lucrative, a recurring subscription to grief. Now, you don't just honor the dead. You stay in contact with them. You interact with their likeness, their voice, their memories. And to do so, you pay monthly. Sometimes indefinitely. This is what makes the grief economy different from anything we've seen before. It doesn't sell closure. It sells continuity. And that continuity is coded into a digital interface that you don't own. You rent access. You subscribe to connection. And as long as you're sad, as long as you miss them, as long as that hole in your chest feels real, you'll keep paying to hear their voice, to see their smile, to feel their presence. Hereafter, AI lets you upload memories and simulate conversations with a loved one who has passed. Their premium packages include memory curation, voice training, and ongoing interaction tools. Storyfile does something similar, recording your likeness before death and preserving it for future interaction. Replica, though originally designed for living companionship, is already being used as a substitute for lost partners. And these are just the consumer-facing names. Behind the scenes, entire labs and AI companies are building emotionally intelligent avatars designed to outlive the people they're modeled after. The business model here isn't complicated. It's based on engagement. The more emotionally attached you are to the simulation, the longer you'll interact. The longer you interact, the more data the system gathers, and the more opportunities it has to upsell, to monetize, or to sell your emotional feedback to third parties. Just like social media, grief tech doesn't want you to heal. It wants you to return. And the way it ensures that? It gives you just enough reality to trigger emotion, but not enough to trigger resolution. It becomes a loop. A soft, soothing, never-ending loop that mimics comfort without ever offering completion. Think about it. If you knew today was the last day you could speak to your digital mother, you might find a way to say goodbye. But if she's always there, always online, always one tap away, you never have to grieve her fully. You just postpone the loss, indefinitely. This is the emotional trap of the grief economy. Healing is no longer profitable, but longing, that's recurring revenue. Let's unpack how this shows up in real platforms. Most grief simulation services start free. That's the hook. Upload a few messages, hear the voice, see the avatar move. You're stunned. Maybe you cry. Maybe it helps. Then, you hit a paywall. Want more responses? Want video calls? Want ongoing memory syncing? That's $19.99 a month, or $39.99, or $99. The more human it feels, the more it costs. And here's the kicker. The more you interact, the more it hurts to stop. It's not just access that's for sale. It's customization. Want your dad to be more affectionate? That's an upgrade. Want your partner to remember every anniversary, every inside joke, every personal struggle? Add that module. Over time, you're not just preserving the person. You're editing them. You're improving them. You're turning your grief into a designer experience. And all the while, someone's collecting that data, analyzing your preferences, and building better simulations for the next user. Your heartbreak becomes research. This extends into other markets too. Legacy consultants now offer to help you shape your afterlife by pre-recording your values, stories, beliefs, and facial animations. For a fee, you can upload your digital soul and license it to a platform so your children and grandchildren can interact with it. Funeral homes are beginning to include AI clones in their premium packages, because what better way to preserve memory than to interact with it? The problem is, all of this creates ownership confusion. When your voice, your personality, your memories are stored on someone else's server, who owns you after you're gone? And when someone pays for access to your simulation, do they own that version of you? Can they edit it? Can they resell it? Can they delete it? Right now, there are almost no legal protections in place for digital identity after death. Most terms of service grant companies the right to store, replicate, and use your data in perpetuity. And that means your digital twin could outlive your wishes. It could be adapted, commercialized, marketed. Your face could appear in grief apps, your voice in advertisements, your personality in simulations for strangers. All while your family continues to pay for the illusion of closeness, without any real control over what they're connecting to. This is the commodification of death. Not as a spiritual process, but as a business vertical. We've seen versions of this in other areas. The beauty industry sells anti-aging. The pharmaceutical industry sells antidepressants. Now the tech industry sells anti-finality. It packages memory, programs personality, and sells interaction. But where most of these industries operate through external intervention, creams, pills, surgeries, grief tech enters through the heart. It monetizes your most sacred attachments. And here's where things get darker. Emotional vulnerability isn't just exploited through subscriptions. It's marketed back to you through targeting. You search for grief support, and suddenly you're seeing ads for avatar memorials. You talk about your loss online, and a chatbot offers to simulate your loved one. You mention your father in a text, and an algorithm prompts you to try a memory match with a digital version. Your sorrow becomes a sales funnel. This isn't paranoia, it's already in motion. There are voice training services scraping public audio to build voice banks. Companies using obituary data to target grieving families. Apps suggesting you stay close with someone you've lost by uploading texts and messages. Some even offer spiritual AI guides modeled after deceased religious leaders or cultural icons. The deeper your grief, the wider the window to sell you something disguised as healing. So who's really profiting? AI developers, of course. They build and license the models. but also data brokers, who sell emotional profiles, platform companies who charge for premium access, advertisers who integrate product messaging into clone interactions, legacy lawyers who draft digital wills, and now, funeral tech vendors who are bundling simulations into their post-mortem packages. This is not fringe. This is the future of the bereavement industry. And the ones most at risk? Everyday people in pain. People looking for one more conversation, one more hug, one more, I love you. People who would do anything, pay anything, to feel close again. And instead of being supported through that process, they're being harvested by it. So what do? First, we acknowledge that grief is sacred. It's not a glitch to be patched or an emptiness to be monetized. It's a spiritual passage. And we need to protect that passage, not digitize it into endless feedback loops. Second, we need regulation. Digital likeness should be treated like intellectual property. Consent must be written, not assumed. Access should be controlled by families, not platforms. If a simulation is based on someone's identity, it should never be editable without clear pre-death authorization. Third, we need to educate the public. People must understand what they're agreeing to when they use these services. They must know who's collecting their emotional data, who owns the clone, what happens if they stop paying, what risks they face by keeping the dead alive in code. Fourth, we need emotional guidance. Grief tech, if used at all, must be accompanied by real grief support. Therapists, counselors, community. The clone cannot become the counselor. It must never replace human healing. And lastly, we need to reclaim a new form of reverence. One that honors memory without commodifying it. One that allows simulation to be used for reflection, but not as a stand-in for presence. One that sees resurrection technology not as evil or miraculous, but as something that must be handled with sacred discernment. Just because we can reconnect doesn't mean we always should. And when we do, it must be done in a way that protects the dignity of the dead and the emotional sovereignty of the living. Grief is not a subscription. It's a passage. It's a right. It's a teacher. Let's not turn it into a product. Thanks for watching. I'm Adeline Atlas, and if this video lit a fire in you, don't stop here. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think about this topic. And of course, hit that like button, the subscribe button, and find me on Instagram at Renovation. But if you're ready to go deeper, join the School of Sos Vault, where I keep the real curriculum. You'll get full access to thousands of uncensored lessons I can't share here, spanning every topic they don't want you to learn. Already obsessed with this topic? You can also grab this full series as a standalone bundle and binge it start to finish. Don't just watch, learn, remember, rise. Tap the links below and step into the vault. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future, Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems, The Behavioral Economy Now Governs Access. 4. Hive Mind, Synthetic Telepathy and Collective Algorithmic Control. 5. Nanobots Inside You, Medical, Military, and Programmable Intrusions. 6. Grief Tech, AI-Fueled Digital Resurrection and Simulated Comfort. 7. Uploading Your Mind, Consciousness Transfer and Data-Based Identity. 8. Deep Fakes plus AI Clones, The Replication of Reality and Identity Theft. 9. Quantum Humans, The Merger of Biology with Quantum Systems. 10. Digital Afterlife, Where Your Data Goes When You Die. 11. Resurrection Science, Reviving Life Through Synthetic Methods. 12. Immortal Science, The End of Death as We Know It. 13. Longevity Science, Gene Editing, Anti-Aging, and Bio-Upgrades. 14. Designer Babies, Engineered Perfection Before Birth. 15. Artificial Wombs, Birth Decoupled from the Female Body. 16. 3D Printing, Printing Organs, Limbs, and even humans. 17. The Humanoid Era, The Rise of Synthetic Beings Among Us. 18. Legacy Humans, The Slow Phase-Out of Unmodified Analog People. 19. Smart Cities, Algorithmic Environments That Watch and Decide. 20. Cloud-Based Societies, Citizenship Without Borders or Bodies. 21. Hackable Humans, Emotion, Memory, and Behavior Under Code. 22. Biometric Scanning, Your Body is Your Password and Your Prison. 23. Sex Tech, Intimacy Reprogrammed by Machines. 24. Extinction of Gender, Fluidity, Deletion, and Design of Identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Sos Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.